Hey, it's working. Now, I don't see your actual screen because you're not sharing your screen, but it's still cool to hear your voice. How are you?
I'm good. How are you? How's the stream going?
You know what? It's just sort of an on-the-fly idea that I had to be able to, jump on people's streams. I've been fascinated with this idea of knocking, but what I said to my chat was it's a little weird because streamers are pretty like controlling of how their stream goes. You know what I mean? Like this is when I'll do this, and this is when I'll do that, and this is the way it's going to go. And for someone to just be like, "Hi, I'm going to interrupt you now," especially someone who plays games like you do, which requires focus and be able to actually remember what the heck's going on, and to be honest, to stop. I'm actually kind of honored that you did.
Oh yeah, of course. I mean, who else to trust than Christian Ninja? I've met you in person, I've talked with you. We've gone into ideas together for stream and stuff. So it's
see, this was all set up. It was all set up so I could hate raid you later.
I'm blessed to not have gotten one of those before. I've just heard of them in passing. I have too many ads I can run. If people do that, it actually might benefit me more.
That reminds me of, I remember a controversial speaker who was saying that when he used to go to universities and speak, and he'd get picketed all the time. He's like, I figured out how to get rid of that. I just started speaking at 8:00 in the morning.
Oh my goodness!
None of the picketers didn't want to show up there early, so it could solve the problem.
That requires discipline, self-control.
Exactly,
which they don't usually have.
Dude, how is Wukong going? I know that's kind of huge, and I was watching a little bit, and you were getting your butt kicked by some very scary baby-looking idol man who had a zombie army.
Yeah, no, it's going great. I'm doing a lot shorter streams, and they're kind of all over the place because I've been doing a lot of YouTube lately. So a lot of it's all recorded. It's easier to record offline, but overall the game's fun. It's easier than Elden Ring, and I played Elden Ring just a month or two ago. So going from that game to this game has actually been nice because it's
technically a Souls-like still.
I don't think it's Souls-like. You don't lose your stuff when you die. The bosses are way easier to fight. The skill trees are different, a lot easier to level up. In my opinion, it just doesn't feel like it's the same as a Souls-like game.
Can I ask you about the YouTube thing? Like what you're doing over there? Are you making a transition? Is it just going to be the slow descent from Twitch in there because they're doing weird things, or is this you trying to just kind of have it both ways?
Right now it's not so much live streaming on YouTube as it is just I create tutorial videos. Those ones tend to do pretty all right. So I've just been making more of those. I did some for Remnant last year in Palia that are still doing really well. And then YouTube is also just like my first playthroughs, and usually it's first playthroughs of horror games because I don't like to stream those live on Twitch. So typically I'll do those off stream and edit them, and so that's like my YouTube channel. It's not so much live.
So one of the things that I think would be difficult is not coming up with content that everybody else is doing when it comes to, say, tutorials or doing any kind of, how to do this kind of stuff. How do you decide what you're going to say that everybody hasn't said a million times?
Yeah, I think it's coming to terms with the fact that there's going to be the same videos out there. I mean, a lot of these people get game keys and they can play the game before me. Like I'm not getting all the keys for these games. So you have to accept that. But what you're going for is, what is your style of editing? How do you explain things? How do you cut your videos? Is it easier for people to click on your video and find the answer than it is for other videos? Maybe they like your voice better. I mean, you have to accept that you're going to be different than the other people around you, and people might like that and they'll follow and click in. So don't get too defeated is what I have to tell myself on the fact that there's already content out there that may say the same thing, but definitely try to look for stuff that isn't posted already. Yeah.
That's so right. That's so smart. Because I mean, it's the level of confidence you'd have to have in yourself, kind of going, I'm a valuable product. My voice actually matters. My opinion actually matters. Me saying things that other people are saying does not invalidate me, doesn't validate my contribution, simply because when I say it different.
Yeah, exactly. Right? It can be very defeating when you already see content out there. I try not to actually look at too much content out there so that I can get my own style going. And then that works best for me. Though I will look up some helpful, maybe like articles that will show me what I'm trying to get done in the game and explain it a little better for my own knowledge, and then record the content later.
One of the things I teach in the class is that secular teachers, people who are, how to grow on Twitch or how to grow on YouTube or whatever, are always go find what everybody else is doing and do that. Go into their, comments and piggyback on all their success. And I teach that God has a unique voice for you, a unique message for you, a unique audience for you. Usually from the trials and trouble that you come from are the people that you're going to have a heart for. Therefore, you should be speaking to them because that is literally your people. And so if you're trying to speak to someone else's people, it's not going to work nearly as well. So find your voice. But it's really difficult because everywhere you go, and literally every other piece of information out there is telling you to not be yourself. I mean, they say, oh, be yourself. But the undergirding line is, but don't do what you like and don't do what you're interested in. Don't necessarily, like your weirdness needs to come down so you can be more like everybody else. And I don't think that's true. I don't think that's true at all.
Yeah, there's a balance that you have to find, especially when it's a business for streamers, between doing what's trending and then doing what is actually like something that you're passionate about. And like finding that blend is kind of where creators want to be, because you want to be unique. You want people to click into your stream for you. You don't want to click on your stream and they realize that you're just like everybody else and they can go anywhere to find that content.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to have that unique skill set that you're offering an audience. And so it's really like people said in the comments, it's just about building your brand, and everybody's journey is different. There's definitely formulas to follow. You should pay attention to those formulas, but
yes. Oh yeah,
not,
for sure.
Yeah. Like it's important. Like pay attention to what's trending, the certain tags to use. Do your research, practice editing, practice recording content, practice talking if you're a more verbal streamer. So
and you're going to suck for a while. Just own the fact that you're not going to be great at it for a while. I know that for me, that's true. Like I look back at the stuff that I've done in the past and I'm like, I don't know what I was thinking. But at the time I remember thinking I put a lot of work into this. Now it looks terrible. But I was actually talking to somebody just before I knocked on you. I was knocking on someone else. We were talking about trending stuff and how terrible I am at finding it. In fact, I tend to do the exact opposite. I pick the thing that nobody likes, and then I try that, and it ends up being the thing that I think I wrecked Starfield. That's what I'm trying to say is I think it was going to be good until I played it and wanted it to be, to be something I would play up front, and I think that's why I wrecked it.
Yeah, I don't think so. I don't know
how you do it. Like Helldivers is a great example. You knew right up front that Helldivers were going to be something special and that you wanted to be part of, and you poured a ton of hours into it. Yeah. And then you got off the train before it fell apart. Is that instinct at this point, or is that like, how do you know?
It's starting to feel that way. I played a lot of Helldivers, and then it's almost like a natural cycle of things for me. I'm like, you know what? I'm not feeling this game anymore, is what just ends up happening. And then I got away from it. And then eventually I went to other games. I went to No Rest for the Wicked. I went to Fallout 4, and then Elden Ring. And Elden Ring wasn't as big because it's already been out for a while. And then I went to First Descendant, and I got in at First Descendant really early, and then bam, viewers, 150 plus. And then I got out of First Descendant. Actually, I went on vacation and I came back and I just felt convicted in playing this game. There's so many aspects to the game that I was realizing I don't really want to be promoting. And so I got away from that game, and I'm in Black Myth Wukong, which is for somebody, a creator of my type, my size, and in variety, I'm never going to win whenever a new game comes out. So I know that that's going to happen. But what I'm doing right now, while I'm in a period of low viewership, is you have to focus on what other social media platforms can you build up. So I'm focusing on Instagram and YouTube during this time, a lot of recording, a lot of tutorial videos, build the brand, get that evergreen content out there. So you're still actually working towards something versus like, oh, I'm not getting any viewers, I'm not getting any income, so I'm just going to sit here and wait until a new game comes out. Can
I ask about that? Because about the numbers thing going up and down, like granted, this is sort of my area that I love talking about. So if you don't want to talk shop, just tell me no. But like,
no, that's fine.
So a while back, and probably like 8 weeks ago, maybe three months ago, you had triple digits, right? You were doing a lot of numbers, and then it starts to come down into 70s, 40s, and whatnot. I only know because you're at the top of my thing every time I look at it. But the question I guess I have is, how do you navigate that spiritually? Because if you believe that you are here to help your community, you're here to, whether it be evangelize or to be able to bring together people who are, need help, then when the numbers go up and you're like, God is blessing me and things are happening and I'm meeting new people, and you even start to say it out loud, God's doing stuff. It's pretty exciting. When it starts to dip, how do you process that? What is God doing? What is God happening here? Or do you see it as a test? You not even factor it in that way?
I mean, I'd love to say that I handle it well every time, but I definitely don't. Sometimes it's really hard mentally, and I will just kind of, I'll think, what's wrong with me? Like, because when you're a creator, especially a creator with a face cam, I mean, you are the person that's bringing people into your little world. So if people
Mm-hmm.
don't want to show up, it's like they don't want to show up because they don't like you, and that's a hard
Yep.
thing to face sometimes. And then understanding that it's like this all comes along with just building your brand and being there for God. Really, it's because if you know what your goal is and your goal is to stick to that and understand that Twitch is finicky, that gaming is finicky, that for Helldivers, for First Descendant, for Destiny 2, for Starfield, for any games I was getting triple digits, a lot of the people were there for the game, and they were there because you're talking about it, you have a good community, that's great. And some people will stick around for the rest of my streaming career, and they will just always show up. And that's actually a really huge thing for me. Like if I get one
Mm-hmm.
or two or three people to stick around for each game I go to, I mean, that's building up your community, and that takes a lot of time. I understand that I'm at low numbers right now. I've been at low numbers, and then I've been at high numbers. I've been at low income. I've been at high income. Understanding that that's the nature of the job, I think, is one of the biggest things you have to do as a
It's
creator.
not you.
It's
Just
not you.
it comes with
It's
the
just
territory.
it's what
That's
it
just how it
is.
is.
And yeah, and sometimes I make good business decisions with games I go to, and sometimes I make bad business decisions. And then it's learning from those. It's like what games bring people in, and then and then figuring out which new ones are coming out. So there's a lot of research that goes into it. Can't get down on yourself though.
You are super smart, and the level of wisdom you have is just incredible. I've always been very impressed. Every conversation we've had, you just ooze not only like intelligence but experience and wisdom, like really grounded stuff.
I appreciate that. I don't feel that way about myself.
Oh no, dude! I can literally feel it because I've talked to a lot of people who are a lot older than you, and same vibe, the same. It's not just a matter of confidence; it's a matter of it. It smacks of reality and truth, and and maturity. So yeah, it's awesome. I guess my question is this: you're smart, and you are able to catch trends. You're able to think about this stuff. Has the temptation come to you where you're like, okay, I built this, but this is a stepping stone towards this that is in your mind, whether it be a completely different thing or something offline, or this is a thing, or have you settled in your heart that for now, this is what you're going to be, period, until God says otherwise, you're pulling out? Or do you have a view on the horizon, something that's out there that you're like, when that materializes, this is a step towards that?
Yeah, I kind of pay attention. I use all of my streaming time right now as prep for when and if I get a bigger audience. So it's just being able to manage my content, my community, myself, and how I interact with people so that I am slowly but surely building towards being able to have the maturity to handle large numbers of people for when and if that happens. Because I remember I got rated right like 2 months after I started streaming officially, like 3.5, close to 4 years ago now, got rated for like 4,000 people. And I was just like, I was out of, I did not know what to do. It was overwhelming. I got super nervous. I think like it ended up going down, but I still had like 500 people in there when I ended stream. I was working another job at the time. But for the game I was playing, it was Outriders, and I was going back to it to play it for the rest of the week. And I just maintained like 100 people, 80 people, 100. Like I was like on partner numbers like right away.
Yeah.
And that freaked me out. And I remember I switched games. I think it was like a panic thing. I was like, I don't know, but I just switched games because I didn't really
like
recognize
you kneecapped yourself.
I couldn't manage it. I couldn't. So I left, and then I switched. I don't even remember what I switched to, but I just left that game. And I felt a lot more comfortable like with being at the lower numbers and slowly building up. And God blessed me in so many ways where I could actually maintain an income to start to do it full time later on. But yeah, I mean, I take this now from learning from that I want to be prepared for when I get the numbers back again. So when I was in Helldivers, I felt a lot more comfortable. First Descended a lot more comfortable, and the Rest for the Wicked, when I was still in the hundreds, a lot more comfortable. So that's like, that's just practice for that, because you have to be careful. I mean, you're live. People can record what you say. They could clip it. They could do whatever they want with the content that's out there, unfortunately. So like not getting nervous anymore is better. Yeah, exactly. So my hopefully I can grow again. But I'm understanding the nature of the job, and I'm understanding there's a lot of things you can do when there's any lull times. You're just waiting for the next game to come out, really. That kind of fits your style.
So what's the top 2 things that is different between 24 people and 124 people?
I think Which is weird. My mindset's different when there's, 20 people to 100 people, is because
Really?
I just feel like it's a lot closer knit. I feel like I can have deeper conversations with people when the chat's moving really fast. It's hit or miss, because when it's smaller, I can have deeper conversations. When it's larger, it's really fun because most people are talking about the game. You're able to just kind of do what you want, but it's also a little bit lonelier. Like, it's harder to maintain talking to that many people
Right.
at one time.
Right.
They're usually talking within themselves or just commenting on aspects of the game that you're going on about. And so it's
Which can
different.
get
I enjoy
repetitive, and
both.
it's hard to feel
It
quote
can.
unquote deep or like significant.
Yeah. Yeah. So for as a Christian creator, it's like it's difficult to have those Christian conversations, but as a gamer, it can be really fun because people will just be all into whatever you're doing in the game instead of like talking about, because sometimes it can get frustrating when you're really into the game and somebody's like, let's talk about my day, Miss P, and my job.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, let's do it.
Yeah, I know. I see. I'm always an AMA, right? On my stream, it's always an AMA. Interrupt anytime. I have a screen specifically where I pause the game goes away, and I just look right at the camera and we talk.
Yeah.
Because that's my jam. I'm a pastoral counselor, and that's how I roll. But
That's awesome.
if I was in your position, you know what I mean? Like, if it was like the game is really important. For me, the game is not as important. The game is a conduit towards conversation, and it's hopefully going to be able to spark something so that I don't have to play the game. If I can start the game 5 minutes in and then talk for 2 more hours, yay, I'm happy. You know what I mean? It really,
Yeah.
But so like I actually knew a guy. I'm trying not to say any names of anybody, but who literally kneecapped all of his social media because it was popping off. Like he was like, I'm getting too many people. I'm going to turn that off. I'm going to not do that, or I'm going to be really, and then because I can't keep up with chat. So he was pushing numbers where his chat was going too fast. He literally decided to
talking about.
blow himself up,
Yeah.
which I think is, I can't fathom that. Like,
yeah,
I get it. I get the heart behind it and whatnot, but I'm still like, when I was a pastor for a really long time, and I was pastored small churches, when we got into bigger numbers, because, growing and meeting the community and evangelizing and baptisms and stuff, when that was happening, it never occurred to me to lock the front door, and just kind of be, no, that's enough people in the community right now. But maybe Twitch is different.
Yeah, well, I would say Twitch is different than dealing with an actual church. Like church, and when you have staff, when you have the pastor, the whole intention is to be able to talk about God. I'm understanding there's some limitations. Like, I'm not a pastor. I have a background of gaming. My games aren't always family friendly. I'm not preaching the whole time. It's just a different setting. So I'm understanding that people are going to be wanting to talk about other things than God. And if they just wanted to talk about God and I had hundreds of people in there, it'd be awesome. I love when I go into my just chatting about religion and apologetic stuff. So that's great. But just understanding that it's like you have to be prepared for often worldly people coming in, and a large number of worldly people coming in that you might not be equipped to deal with and might not have the moderation team to deal with. I definitely didn't for Outriders. It's just, it's different. So now that I'm just more set up, I'm more mature. I wouldn't turn people away. Not that I have a better understanding of it, but if you feel like it is not the right time, then I feel like you might want to trust that, because the internet's rough and the internet's forever, and you got to be cautious with how out there you are. Sure. Yeah.
I think I could probably talk to you all day. Honestly, you're just the best. But I think I'll let you go so that you can get back to. Are you saving a country? Are you killing bad guys? Is it the afterlife? What are we? Are we just collecting fashionable items? That is a great hat.
Yeah, thank you very much. We're still figuring that out. I actually think that I'm the bad guy. So we are dealing. We're like in the Buddha's realm, and we're fighting a lot of dragons, which I guess long is the Chinese word for dragon. Just learned that. And yeah, so I just am in a new area. I think I'm going to be fighting a boss soon.
Well, now I have mixed feelings. Do I say good luck, or do I say I hope you lose?
That's what I've been dealing with. Welcome to my internal struggle.
Well, I'll leave you to that philosophical conundrum. Have a good one.
Thank you. You too. God bless. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.